Com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Bryson Law Firm. LSBA filing number LA2518447.
Looking for a spotless workplace? Variety Janitorial Services is your go-to. For office cleaning to stripping and floor waxing and carpet cleaning, your commercial space will look its best. Their reputation for perfection has grown throughout the entire Acadiana community. They deliver top-notch service with a commitment to excellence. Daily, weekly, or deep cleaning, trust the experts. Visit VarietyJan.com today or call 337-298-8704 for a free quote. Variety Janitorial Services. We clean, you shine.
Live from Upper Lafayette, this is ESPN 1037 KLWB Carencro Lafayette, KLCJ-FM Oak Grove Lake Charles 1041, a Delta Media station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros dropped their game last night to the Toronto Blue Jays 4-2 in Canada. The Astros and the Jays were tied 2-2 heading into the 7th when the Blue Jays tacked on back-to-back one-run innings to take the victory. Game 2 of the series will be this afternoon, and it'll be Peter Lambert for Houston versus Shane Bieber on the mound for Toronto. First pitch is at 3:07, and you can listen to it on our sister station, News Talk 98.5 FM and 1520 AM. The Oklahoma Sooners have won the 2026 College Baseball World Series after obliterating North Carolina last night 13-2. It's the first baseball title for the Sooners since 1994 and the third overall for the program. This championship win is also the SEC's 7th straight national championship in baseball. Also for OU, shortstop Jackson Willits took home the tournament's Most Outstanding Player award. He batted .500 in Omaha, going 13 for 26 at the plate with 1 home run, 7 RBI, and 6 runs scored. Today in the World Cup, Cristiano Ronaldo and Portugal will start the day off with Uzbekistan at 12 p.m. Then at 3 p.m., England will face Ghana. After that, Panama will play Croatia at 6 p.m. And rounding out the day, Colombia will play Congo at 9 p.m. tonight. Michigan basketball's Dusty May is reported to have taken the head coaching job with the Dallas Mavericks yesterday. May recently led the Wolverines to a national title in 2026 and will be the first college coach to make the jump to the NBA since former Michigan coach John Beilein took the Cleveland Cavaliers job in 2019. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you. This is ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. This is 2 hours of sports talk like none other. Footnotes with the man who speaks his own language.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
Your host, Kevin Foote.
Welcome into Footnotes. You are listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette, 1041 Lake Charles on this Tuesday morning. We're starting to sniff July, and so we've reached another. It's like we're knocking down dominoes.
Yes.
College baseball season is over.
So, only sport that you care about is MLB that's going on. I know you're not very invested in the World Cup.
Certainly, and I'll ask you. Let's hold off on some of the World Cup things, and then I'll again in about 15 minutes you can call us on the ESPN hotline 706-0111. Sports there are so many things that are incredible about sports, but what Oklahoma did last night is one of them. Like. There's so many things that come to mind when I think about Oklahoma's runs. Like so often, let's say Oklahoma, there was a in the regional where they were down 8-2 to Georgia Tech, and their season was on the line. And let's say when they cut it, they ended up scoring a ton of runs, so it didn't matter. But let's just say they cut it to 8-7. And they hit a shot and some, and it looked like they were going to take the lead, but they made a bad call and they didn't end up it didn't go their way, and they ended up losing that game and they were eliminated. What would people have said? A lot of people would have said, well, it doesn't matter. They weren't good enough anyway.
Yeah, that would not have mattered.
Because there was nothing before that supported they are good enough. There was nothing.
No.
They finished 11th. They were under 500. They weren't this great offensive team that by the end of the year they turned out to be. I mean, offensively, they were kind of like the Cajuns. Like, they didn't do a whole lot all year, and at the end, they started kind of hitting.
Yeah.
And obviously at a higher level than the Cajuns did, but you know what I'm saying? It was like, it just goes back to the whole Jim Mora line. You think you know, but you don't know, and you never will. And it's gonna be it's gonna be an example I'm gonna click in my mind a lot. Again, a lot of you never know what's about to happen, and you never know when you make a bad call or the officials make a bad call or the head coach makes a bad call. That's why when I'm watching games, especially for the fans, for the teams that I support, even if they win, if they do bad things, it sticks in my mind. You say, why are you so angry? You won or you're winning, which, I think that's the dumbest thing ever. You're winning. Well, that means nothing if I'm winning. It only matters if I win in the end. But even if I win the game, bad habits will come back to get you and vice versa. A bad call can come back to get you and vice versa. I'm just as angry about a bad call that almost cost my team the game than if it does cost my team the game. Now, I sleep better that night, but I'm still angry because it could have cost my team the game. And you put me in that situation. So, it's just another example of you never, at any point during this incredible run, understand they won 9. They lost 9 of their last 13 regular season games. Well, going into the regionals, including going 0-1 and losing to a bad LSU team by LSU standards, by SEC standards. Like, Oklahoma didn't look like a good team when LSU beat them in the SEC tournament.
They didn't look like a good team really at hardly any point of the regular season.
They, again, were down to the number 2 overall seed, Georgia Tech, in the regional, facing elimination 8-2. Like, who in their right mind, when they were down 8-2 in a regional elimination game, thought Oklahoma was even a possibility of getting to the World Series, much less winning it going away,
much less winning that game against Georgia Tech?
Look, I'm not saying Kansas is a program that's just building, but when they played the Big 12 champion Kansas, who had just crushed Arkansas. A lot of people thought Arkansas was going to win that regional. Arkansas has been a good program for many years, and they're going to this Johnny-come-lately Kansas crushed Arkansas.
Yeah, they thought the pedigree would be enough.
Well, they outscored Kansas 21-3. And he's like, well, Kansas is terrible. Well, it turns out Kansas wasn't. I don't know if Kansas was terrible. Oklahoma just had hit a gear that none of us thought was even possible, and really, they couldn't have thought this was possible. You always think, you have the mentality you got to keep playing, keep playing. That old thing that Coach Dodson used to say years ago: keep sawing wood. You got to keep sawing wood.
Yeah,
that old cliche, and you got to do that. Obviously, the option is just to give up. And so it's unbelievable. The only thing more unbelievable is if they would have swept North Carolina. But that was incredible what they did. And again, it's going to be an example it's going to be a team example that coaches in all sports are going to reflect back on and use as a motivational piece for teams for years to come, I think. Because, again, it's going to be used over and over and over again. And, I think it even I know the levels are different. College and professional sports are very different. No one knows that more than me. I've been, talking about that for years. But I do like making parallels. Like, if you're a team like the Astros right now, or, the Blue Jays or the Tigers or the Reds or the Padres or, some team that had pretty high hopes and you're kind of underachieving right now, and you played almost a half a season. We're not quite there yet, but played almost a half a season, and everybody thinks you are what you are. Well, no, you're not. You got over half the season left. This team was in the postseason. They went 0-1 in the SEC tournament, and they had lost 9 of their previous 13, and there was a zero hope.
Yeah.
They were just a team that got in because they play a bunch of SEC teams, and so their RPI was high. That was it. They didn't do anything on the field that meant anything, really.
Yeah, I was, like I said at the beginning of this, I was surprised when the brackets came out that they were even in a regional.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. So again, I don't know if there's a way to understate what Oklahoma just did, and it's just the ultimate example of why, Yogi was a genius, and all of these people that say you just can't ever give up. You just got to keep going, and you got to stay together. Think about how many teams splinter, or whatever term you want to use, because, and it's also why I don't buy that whole it's a variation of that old cliche, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing. Sometimes when you do the same thing over and over, if you stick together and believe in it, it can happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're another example of that too. It's unbelievable with Oklahoma. And I'm telling you, this is going to be one of the most talked about runs and teams, 10 years, 20 years, if we're still here, coaches are going to be the 2026 Oklahoma Sooners. Remember them.
And the 2022 Ole Miss Rebels.
It's another example.
And they beat Oklahoma in that College World Series.
It's incredible. Incredible what they did, and it just goes to show you being together, what it can do if you just continue to believe. So, got to make good decisions, and you got to have talent, no question. And obviously they had talent for whatever reason. How do you explain? Which one was it I saw? It's like the first however many games they played, 30 games or whatever. He had no home runs, and since then he's hit like 20. How do you even explain stuff like that?
Yeah.
It's just
you don't.
It's remarkable.
It really is. It's insane.
It is unbelievable what they just did, and it's going to be, again, a lesson that a lot of coaches in different sports and levels are going to be using for a long, long time. All right. We needed to talk about it. Finished. It was last night, so we talked about that, and we're a little too close for the timeout. So let's do this. What is our poll question of the day, and then we will get to some of the other subjects on the other side.
Yes, so it is the SEC still the king of college sports? Yes, no, or just baseball and softball?
I think it's certainly the best overall. Again, I don't know why we got to have a king.
Well, it's just the popular debate.
But no, I still think the SEC pound for pound is in all the sports that we talk about. Now, again, when they have all these all sports trophies and all that, that's including sports that none of us ever talk about.
Yeah, you're not big on rowing and
so
skeet shooting.
for the sports that we talk about on this show, certainly it's still the best. I don't think. Now, that doesn't mean it's the best in football right now or the best in basketball right now. I don't think it is. But overall, I think it's the best. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
of the sports we talk about. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the best in all sports because they got sports that we never talk about that I don't have any idea who's good at.
well, let's be honest. Everybody that sees this poll goes, this is about baseball, football, softball, and basketball, men and women. So you are in the majority. You're at the yeses have it right now at 57.1%. Just baseball and softball is in second place at 28.6%, and then no is in third at 14.3%. So people still agree with you.
Well, what all those people that are in charge of all this need to worry about is where college sports is headed, and
Yeah.
because more than that, because again, I don't even count. Like Oklahoma is not an SEC.
Thank you. I don't think the SEC won a title this year.
Yeah, I don't count Oklahoma
Or Texas
because
they won
we're
softball.
fixing to have. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people think that in 10 years or so, we're only going to have 2 conferences. And they might as well just give them new names.
Yeah, I can't stand the naming of,
Right. Let's say we end up with 2 conferences 10 or 15 years. They need to just rename them.
Yeah.
Like, it can't be, oh, look at SEC history and SEC or Big Ten this or big. Because you can tell me all you want that UCLA is in the Big Ten. You will never convince me that UCLA is a Big Ten school.
How about Stanford playing in the Atlantic Coastal
It's just
Conference?
stupid. And so when they get to that point, they just need to rename them.
It's the Big Ten. They got 18 teams. The Big 12, I don't even know how many they have. They probably have 10.
It's
the SEC.
It's silly when you talk about conferences. Almost don't even matter anymore because we're going into they're headed to a 2-league system. It has nothing to do with conference.
And now you're graded so much on the teams you play not in your conference.
Anyway, it is what it is. But no, I'm with you. Oklahoma's not an SEC school for sure. All right. We got a lot else to get to. I've been having thoughts come into my mind. And they just come at me. I can't fight them off sometimes.
Dangerous.
And I'm trying to hold them all.
Dangerous.
Trying to push them away. It's not here yet. But they just keep coming.
It's a scary thought.
What am I going to do about it?
I wish I could help you, but we've been doing this for like 2 years now, and I hadn't figured out what's the solution.
All right, we'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
With storm season arriving, ESPN 103.7 Lafayette, 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana sports station, and Mid-South Power Solutions in Crowley want to bring you these hurricane safety tips. Make sure to secure your home. Bring in outdoor items before the storm makes landfall. Have an emergency kit stocked with food, water, and medication. Know your evacuation routes and listen to local authorities. Stay informed with a battery-powered radio, and make sure you have fresh batteries. That is really important. Remember, safety is in your hands. These hurricane preparedness tips are powered by Mid-South Power Solutions in Crowley, your local Generac dealer. Visit midsouthpowersolutions.com.
Hello, everyone. This is Jeff Palermo. Join us on Tuesday nights for Tiger Rag Radio. Myself, Todd Horn, and Glenn Gilbo give you the latest happenings in Tiger Town and across the SEC. We talk to coaches, analysts, and those in the know when it comes to the Tigers and the Southeastern Conference. We cover all the sports: football, baseball, basketball, softball, and gymnastics. That's Tuesday nights right here on ESPN 103.7 in Lafayette and 104.1 in Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Stop smoking with Alex Goen patented hypnosis.
My name's Robin Fletcher. I've smoked for 46 years. I went to a seminar in March. I took my 3 sisters and my brother-in-law and my sister's best friend and them went. None of them have smoked a cigarette, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
My name is Jen Carpenter. I went to a seminar to stop smoking, and it worked.
The only stop smoking method in America proven useful by the U.S. Patent Office because it reprograms your subconscious. Alex Goen breaks your connection to cigarettes, coffee, stress, driving, even other smokers. No cravings, irritability, or weight gain. You walk in a smoker and you walk out free. Only $59.99 or your money back. Stop Smoking Seminar Saturday, July 18th, the Hilton Garden Inn Cajun Dome at 2 p.m. Weight loss at 11 a.m. Sign up at alexgoen.com. That's ALEXGOEN. alexgoen.com.
ESPN 1037 KLWB FM and 1041 KLCJ FM are properties of Delta Media Corporation, Southwest Louisiana's only locally owned and operated premier multimedia company with radio, television, and digital properties. ESPN 1037 and 1041 often conducts promotional contests on the air and on our digital platforms to include ESPN SouthwestLouisiana.com and the ESPN Text Club. In order to participate in any contest promotion, you must be at least 18 years of age and reside within the broadcast coverage area of ESPN. Only one winner per household per 30 days. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Winners agree to pay any taxes or fees related to a prize as noted in contest rules. Winners also agree that ESPN Southwest Louisiana has permission to use their name, likeness, portrait, recorded voice, or other biographical material to promote the station and participating sponsors. Employees, family members, and sponsors of ESPN Southwest Louisiana and Delta Media are not eligible to participate in any promotional contest. A complete list of rules can be found online at ESPNSouthwestLouisiana.com or available to view at the main offices of Delta Media Corporation during operating business hours, located at 3501 Northwest Evangeline Thruway, Carencro.
Acadiana Legal Services Corporation provides free access to legal services. Their work spans across Louisiana. They're committed to helping eligible individuals navigate legal challenges from family law to public benefits. Their team delivers reliable, high-quality representation. Acadiana Legal Services provides comprehensive benefits and a supportive work environment. Join a team that makes a difference in the lives of people. Apply today at la-law.org/careers or careers@la-law.org.
Are you fluent in Footlish? Probably not, but not to worry. We're here to help with the Footlish Dictionary. The Piper, a mythical creature that only Kevin sees, which determines the outcomes of baseball games due to how many runs a team score on any given night. Now, back to the man with his very own language, Kevin Foote and Footnotes on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Welcome back to Footnotes. If you would like to give us a call on the ESPN hotline, 706-0111, 706-0111. Well, we began, Blake wasn't here yesterday, but we began week four already of our Footnotes summer project. June is almost over.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we're close.
July 1st is like a week from tomorrow. Is that correct? When is July 1st?
Let's see. And I know even though there's a calendar right behind me, July 1st is next Wednesday.
Yeah, a week from tomorrow is July the 1st. You know what happens in July?
It gets hotter.
Yeah, NFL training camp starts in July.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
NFL training camp. Like football, and again, I've already complained about this, Sunbelt Conference Media Days is like in mid-July now. I think is it like the day after the All-Star game? I think it is. It's like, what are they doing?
See, Sunbelt Media Days, July 15th and 16th,
which I believe is a Wednesday and a Thursday. And it's like we only have like 3 more weeks and summer's over already. It just like it just started.
Yeah, and the All-Star game is the 14th.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. So I don't know. I'm not pleased with that, but it is what it is. So last night was not good. I mean, I did not. The Astros lost last night 4-2 to the Blue Jays, and Dylan Cease has kind of owned the Astros for a while now. And he was beatable last night. He was beatable. But of course the Astros choked. They cannot. Why did the Blue Jays win? Because with runners on third and less than 2 outs, they hit 3 sacrifice flies. The Astros are not right now capable of hitting a ball out of the infield with a runner at third and less than 2 outs. Coach Deggs calls them alpha at-bats. They are horrendous. They had opportunities, couldn't do it. The Blue Jays got opportunities, they hit 3 sacrifice flies. You don't have to hit a home run. You don't even have to get a base hit. Just hit the ball out of the infield. They just cannot do it. They cannot do it. And it's just awful situational hitting. I mean, they have got to get Christian Walker out of the 3-hole. I will listen to the debate whether El Perro Grande should be the 2-hole. It's been something that's been going on. Well, UL softball's done that started that about 2 decades ago, where you put your best hitter in the 2-hole. For most of my life, the thought was you put your best hitter in the 3-hole. But I'm willing to listen to it, but you got to have a legitimate 3-hole hitter. Christian Walker is a 5 or 6-hole hitter. It's what he is. He is not a 3-hole hitter. Your 3-hole hitter can't hit 240. And so they've got to change that. Now, I'm not saying there's another great option because Isak's been horrible all season. And El Perro Grande, if you're going to hit him he's your 3-hole hitter traditionally. But if you're going to hit him in the 2-hole, who in a row you going to put in the 3-hole? Now, I got to admit, and this is going to sound like the craziest thing ever. You know who actually is having good at-bats right now?
Who?
Jose Altuve. In the last, 3 or 4 games, he actually looks like, when he comes to the plate, for the first time all year, I'm like he might get a hit right here. I'm actually thinking he might get a hit. I don't. That's how crazy things are right now. I'm actually have a reasonable level of confidence that Jose Altuve might get a hit. It's unbelievable, but not a whole lot of others. Not a whole lot of others. So they got to get a bat. They just got to get a bat. And that's something that's, within a month away right now, or about a month away is the trade deadline. They got to get a bat. They got to get a bat. They got to get a bat. We'll see if they can do that. Just don't get swept. They haven't been swept in 2 months. Maybe I need to stop saying that because I'm going to speak it into existence.
Probably, yeah. You got to.
I probably need to stop saying that.
We got to get you with a yoga instructor. Somebody gets positive affirmation in your mind. Positive vibes, positive thinking. That'd be hilarious to see you versus a yoga instructor.
I mean, really, when a runner's at third and no outs, it's not even really a scoring opportunity for the Astros. It's really not. They have very little chance of getting that guy home from third. Very little chance. With the runner at third with no out. With runner at third with no outs, they almost no chance of getting that guy home. It's unbelievable how bad they are. It's got to be focus. Got new hitting instructors are supposed to be getting better at this stuff. All right, let us head out to the ESPN hotline. Hello.
I want to pay homage to the basketball that you watched in the 70s.
Okay.
Elvin Hayes and Wes Unseld.
Oh, man. Now, you see, that one I love. Elvin Hayes and Wes Unseld, because have you ever seen the photos of Wes Unseld when he came out of Louisville or was like a rookie for that guy was built like he looked like Ken Norton or something. He wasn't that tall. He was tall by NFL center standards. He wasn't tall, but he was just huge. His arms, his legs, he was like a rectangle, like a stud middle linebacker in the NFL or something. He was impressive physically.
Yeah, Elvin Hayes from Rayville. He's from, I think, is Ernie Ladd from there? I know.
Elvin Hayes, yeah, absolutely. He's from Rayville, Louisiana. No, I really liked. It might be my favorite all-time team that was not. It was either the Bucks of the early 80s or the Bullets of the 70s. Probably the Bullets for the 70s. Probably my favorite non-Lakers NBA team ever.
So funny. You already And I guess you need to do. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I guess you need to come up with your top 10 and then take it from there because you already put Magic and Kareem number one. I'm surprised no one mentioned Jordan and Pippen or Shaq and Kobe.
Well, actually, I got Jordan and Pippen was texted to me early. I was about to say that, and yeah, I mean, it was just yesterday was just Monday, but yeah, we'll get there.
Hey,
but
let me ask you this: Duncan and Robinson, Duncan and Parker, or Duncan and Ginobili? Which one are you going with?
Duncan and Parker is what I would go with.
Yeah, since Parker won an MVP, a Finals MVP at least.
Yeah, I would.
Anyone say Jerry West, Elgin Baylor?
Not yet. In fact, I thought someone was heading in that direction yesterday, but they didn't say it.
Yeah, me. I was. And you cut me. Well, I was probably up for a break. I'm sure y'all up for a break now. Have some what ifs. Olajuwon and Sampson. What ifs? Tracy McGrady, and Vince Carter. I think that could have been a what if. One of my friends said Kevin Garnett and Stephon Marbury is a what if. Now, what about Larry Johnson? No, I know he's not going to make your list. A what if is also Shaq and Hardaway, but Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning. I know it's not going to make your top 10, but I just wanted to pay an ode to the 90s, the era I grew up in. But I just want to hear your thoughts on what we said. I know you're up against it.
All right. Thanks for the call. Jay has been our MVP on our Footnotes Summer Project.
Yeah.
He's been fabulous.
We need to get him an award.
Yeah. No, look. There are so many good ones. And look, what he's talking about, I don't know if you probably didn't have it, you probably weren't listening. I said that in my mind, Kareem and Magic are the number 1-2 NBA punch ever. And we're going to start the week with them at number one. We didn't do that with any of the previous 3 weeks. I didn't say we had to end it that way. I said y'all have a week to convince me otherwise, is what I said.
Okay, so it's a battle.
But that's what's a little different. Like we're starting out, we didn't start out with anything on the other three. But what I was said yesterday that Jay was referring to is that I'm starting out with Kareem and Magic as number one, and y'all have a week to convince me otherwise.
That's good. I like that approach. I think that's way better.
And so we'll see. But we've already got. I mean, Baylor and Jerry West were obviously a great one. No one has said Shaq and Kobe yet, but Shaq and Kobe were obviously really good, and so we've got a lot more to get to on our Footnote Summer Project. But man, we talked a lot about the NBA. It's NBA week on our Footnote Summer Project, and we're about to talk more NBA on the other side of this timeout. We'll be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros dropped their game last night to the Toronto Blue Jays 4-2 in Canada. The Astros and the Jays were tied 2-2 heading into the 7th when the Blue Jays tacked on back-to-back one-run innings to take the victory. Game 2 of the series will be this afternoon, and it'll be Peter Lambert for Houston versus Shane Bieber on the mound for Toronto. First pitch is at 3:07, and you can listen to it on our sister station, News Talk 98.5 FM and 1520 AM. The Oklahoma Sooners have won the 2026 College Baseball World Series after obliterating North Carolina last night 13-2. It's the first baseball title for the Sooners since 1994 and the third overall for the program. This championship win is also the SEC's 7th straight national championship in baseball. Also for OU, shortstop Jackson Willits took home the tournament's Most Outstanding Player award. He batted .500 in Omaha, going 13 for 26 at the plate with 1 home run, 7 RBI, and 6 runs scored. Today in the World Cup, Cristiano Ronaldo and Portugal will start the day off with Uzbekistan at 12 p.m. Then at 3 p.m., England will face Ghana. After that, Panama will play Croatia at 6 p.m. And rounding out the day, Colombia will play Congo at 9 p.m. tonight. Michigan basketball's Dusty May is reported to have taken the head coaching job with the Dallas Mavericks yesterday. May recently led the Wolverines to a national title in 2026 and will be the first college coach to make the jump to the NBA since former Michigan coach John Beilein took the Cleveland Cavaliers job in 2019. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is the proud winner of 4 2026 LAB Prestige Awards, including Best Use of Digital Media, Foot's Friday Fury, Best Live On-Site Remote for our Super Bowl Radio Road coverage, Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative, and Radio Young Professional of the Year for Dawson Iserloh. We're proud of being Southwest Louisiana's sports station and are humbled to be recognized by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters. Celebrate America's 250th birthday, powered by Regional Homes of Opelousas and ESPN 103.7 and 104.1. We're giving you the chance to win a 250th Anniversary of America flag and flagpole kit. Listen on air for the American Trivia question, and you could be one of our lucky winners. We're giving away 5 flag and 5 flagpole kits during the week of July 4th. Thanks to our friends at Regional Homes of Opelousas. Salute, and happy 250th birthday, America.
When strength matters, go to apfabllp.com. Precision built to last, from heavy-duty aluminum structural welding using TIG, MIG, and stick to custom metal fabrication designed exactly for your project. Need safety inspections, weld analysis, to 24-hour metal repairs? Trust A&P to get the job done. For quality craftsmanship and dependable service, visit apfabllp.com. That's apfabllp.com. A&P Fabrication and Construction. Built strong, built right.
BB's Auto Sales has been serving Acadiana since 1966. Cleanest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Need financing? No problem. BB's offers easy financing for all credit types, including in-house financing. Plus, they're paying top dollar for your trade. Voted top 3 dealership in Community Choice Awards 2 years in a row. Visit BB's Auto Sales, 2 convenient locations off Johnston Street and in Abbeville. bbsautosales.com. Cleanest cars in Acadiana.
This is your Chiropractic Expert Minute, brought to you by Dr. Quentin Briscoe, chiropractic physician.
Hello, I'm Dr. Quentin Briscoe. Veterans, are you struggling with chronic back pain, neck issues, or reduced mobility? You're not alone, and you have options. Chiropractic care is part of your VA health benefits, and at Briscoe Chiropractic, we specialize in non-surgical, drug-free solutions to help manage your pain and improve your well-being. We are proud to work with the VA Community Care Network. Let us help you regain your mobility and enjoy the active life you deserve. In addition to the VA Community Care Network, we are also in network with Blue Cross Blue Shield and Aetna. We accept motor vehicle accidents and workman's comp cases.
To schedule an appointment with Briscoe Chiropractic, visit drqmb.com or call 337-534-0091. That's drqmb.com or 337-534-0091, because your spine deserves expert care.
Go check out our YouTube channel at ESPN_SWLA for the latest episodes of Cleats and Sneaks with James Mesh and 4 Tire Change with Dawson Iserloh and much more. That's ESPN, Southwest Louisiana's sports station on YouTube.
Welcome back to Footnotes. You can give us a call on the ESPN hotline, 706-0111, 706-0111. All right, yesterday, one of the submissions from James for our Footnotes Summer Project, Best 1-2 Punches in NBA History, was he did it tongue-in-cheek, and it was funny, and it actually worked. It just turns out that since then, it didn't happen because right, the trade for Giannis went to Miami and not Boston. Are you relieved? Are you a little bummed? What are you?
I definitely won't say I'm bummed. I'm more just trying to figure out, okay, so now what's the next step for the Celtics? Because from the reports that I had seen, the reason why the Giannis to Boston trade didn't go through was because the Celtics were like, oh, you want Hugo Gonzalez? No, he is not a part of our package. We'll send you Jaylen Brown. We'll send you first-round picks. But asking for Hugo Gonzalez, you're crossing the line, Cat. So I'm curious, now that that's happened, and it was out there for weeks that Jaylen Brown would be at the forefront of a trade package to go get Giannis, are you either going to fix your relationship with Jaylen Brown and be like, let's mend everything and have everything become a kumbaya and we'll be all fine? Or is it too irreparable and now it's like, well, now we have to get rid of him, so you'll trade him somewhere else?
It seems like both sides want to move on. We don't know. I don't know that, but doesn't it seem that way? That both sides want to move on?
Well, looking at what I've seen from Jaylen when it comes to like social media, whether you look at the live streams or him being in China for like the last 2 weeks or whatever, it seems like he's just enjoying himself, and it doesn't come off as I don't ever want to go back to Boston. But I don't know what he's thinking or feeling internally, because he made a post yesterday with, I think, the U.S. track star. I forget his name, but I also could be wrong. It could be a completely different person. I don't even know what was going on. It was just a snippet of a clip from like a live stream or something that he was doing, and he was like, "With all y'all saying y'all don't want me in Boston anymore, or that y'all want me trading going somewhere else. Y'all have woken up a monster or something." He said something to that sort. So I'm like,
that quote.
So I'm like, okay, so what is going on here? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
It's strange. The other thing is, Brian Windhorst over the last 2 days has said over and over and over again that Brad Stevens is decided to move on. And that could be what he's talking about, or part of what he's talking about. And I don't think Windhorst would be that emphatic about making that statement if somebody on that side of the fence didn't tell him something.
Right.
Like, he is just, he's not saying he agrees with it. He's saying that Stevens has decided the Celtics were not good enough under the current way, and he's ready to do things differently. So we'll see what happens. No, that is an interesting deal.
I was going to say, so for me, looking at this sense, I've always really enjoyed the duo of Tatum and Brown. They've created so many big moments, but there has been so many times where the expectation is y'all should get to the finals, and if y'all don't, and if not, I mean, like, win the finals. Like, you two are talented in and of itself, and y'all have got some pretty good role players. And there's been so many times where the series goes infinitely longer than they should. They'll maybe advance, but you'll be like, that should have been done in 5. Why did it take y'all 7 games to win this series?
And they've had some Game 7 losses that were troubling.
So, like, for as good and talented as they've been, and they are best friends, they have underperformed so many times throughout these years that I could understand why this was the final straw for Brad Stevens and company to be like, Jaylen, we love you, but there's obviously something going on to where there's some sort of disconnect that y'all just cannot perform as high as y'all should in these playoffs, and we've given you nearly a decade to work together, and we've only come up with two NBA finals and 1 title.
So, again, we're all speculating here. None of us know.
Yeah.
But you're obviously getting you obviously have a guy in Brown who was in the MVP discussion and who's done a lot in his career and is really good. If you're the Celtics, you're not trading for draft picks, because that's not what you're trying to acquire here. You're trying to acquire maybe a front court player Is that what they need? A front court, like a Giannis type player? Is that, I mean, what, in other words, you're not trying to, you want to win now. So you're not trading a guy that theoretically would help you win now for draft picks. You would need to trade him for just a different personality / different fit of a player who's could maybe be in the MVP discussions and could help you win now. And maybe with Jalen being more of a ball handler, I guess that means that better fit is someone who's more of a front court player.
Maybe. There's an option for that. But again, I'm still trying to figure out, are they trying to get somebody to be like their next guard? Because, I mean, Jalen used to be the 2. They moved him to the 3, and Tatum used to be the 3. But as he kind of kept growing and added a couple inches to his height, they moved him to the 4.
You're talking about trying to acquire a scoring point guard, a scoring floor leader. I guess that could be the other option.
If it's not a point guard, then a shooting guard, because there's been plenty of times where Tatum just takes the ball at the floor. Same thing with Derek White, but the question is, do they want more of a quote-unquote traditional type of point guard that takes the ball up and becomes a little bit more of a facilitator and can score?
All they do is shoot. Shoot. That's all they do.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I don't know. They gotta maybe get a different philosophy. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I don't, obviously, you're a Celtic fan and I'm not, and so we want different results here. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Well, the thing is, look, I am more of a fan of shooting the 3 ball than you are, but getting it north or at 50 attempts per game, that's too much. I think the sweet spot is 35. I think if you're going to take like 80 to 85 shots in a game, I think it should be between 35 and 43s, and then 40 and 45 threes inside the arc.
Yeah, they definitely get too crazy with that. So we have that, and the NBA draft is tonight, so we'll talk more about it. I've been somewhat intrigued, I got to tell you, with this Peterson kid going all the way back to Kansas and during the NCAA tournament and during the regular season, even before the NCAA tournament, all the discussion around him. It's fascinating from a, do you trust him at the NBA level? And I've seen comments from these NBA insider analysts. Some of them say, well, once you get him out of college, he's going to be fine. He's too good of a talent to not draft him number 1. You should pick him. And then I've seen others that said, I wouldn't trust that guy with that high of a pick. I wouldn't want him. So it's going to be very interesting to see where he goes, really, and if he goes 1 or 2 and how it's going to work out for sure. All right, let us head back to the ESPN hotline. Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I just caught the tail end of what you were just talking about the number 1 draft pick. Are you talking about the young man from BYU?
No, from Kansas. The one who had issues like, should he play or not play? And, he was, people looked at him as too much of a me guy, and he wasn't a team player. And then so there are people that say, that doesn't matter. He'll be okay at the pro level, even though he was a problem for Kansas. And then other people say, well, I don't want to deal with a guy who's coming into the NBA on my team who's not a good teammate. So I don't. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out.
He'll get his mind right, believe me, in the NBA. Because keep in mind, and God rest his soul, as much as people love Kobe was a me guy when he came into the league.
No, I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Hey, listen, real quick, on the Boston situation, Jaylen Brown. Didn't Jaylen Brown carry the team this past season?
Yes.
And Brad Stevens says we want to move on from Jaylen Brown.
I think what he's saying is what they're currently doing isn't going to work. That's the that what Winarz is saying is that the Celtics, i.e. Stevens, has reached a conclusion that under the current way of doing things is not going to win the NBA titles, not going to beat the Knicks or whoever else in the East. And so they need to go a different route.
Well, look at it this way. 2 NBA finals in a decade. One ends up in a title. He did this without a legit big man and a legit power forward.
No, yes.
You know how many teams would kill for that? And I'm not even a Celtic fan, but you know how many teams would say, oh, we're good. 2 NBA finals, one ended up in a title, and we did this with this group here? Jeez.
No, I understand. I understand. And what you're saying is you have to take the era that you're in into context with these decisions that are being made. Again, we're in an era which is unlike any era in the history of the NBA where you've had this many years in a row without a repeat champion. Like, the NBA has been about dynasties going back to the Lakers of the 50s. So, I mean, it's been that way forever in the NBA, and we're in a different era right now.
And you're right. You're right. And, but we'll see how it plays out in foot. I know you're not a watcher of the WNBA, but you need to watch some of these games. These ladies have been phenomenal this past season. I mean, games gone down to the wire just about every night. Good basketball, high IQ basketball, which you're not seeing in the NBA.
I have seen the buzz. I have seen quite a few buzzer beater highlights on you're right about that. I have seen the buzzer beater highlights. Yes, sir.
And if anyone wants to have that conversation with me, I'll have it. High IQ basketball, which is something you're not seeing in college and you're not seeing in the NBA.
All right. I appreciate the call.
Athleticism isn't there, but they're women. They're not supposed to be as athletic as men. Jesus Christ. I wish some guys would just get that in their head. But anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, your week. Have a good one.
I understand. You too, sir. We'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is your home for the Houston Astros.
And the Astros stun the Mariners.
Hunter Brown, Yordan Alvarez, and the rest of the Astros are looking to get back to the postseason. You can listen to every pitch, hit, and thrilling victory of the Houston Astros.
Incredible!
As Robert Ford and Steve Sparks will be on the call. Tune in this season for live Astros baseball on Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
The best businesses aren't just businesses, they're neighbors. Here's a message from a proud certified South Louisiana business.
Bro Bridge Truck Stop Casino. They have the newest games around. Hot seat drawings and monthly specials like no one else. Located on the Bro Bridge Highway and on the banks of the Vermilion River. Come out today and try your luck at the Bro Bridge Truck Stop Casino.
When you support local businesses, you strengthen the communities we call home. Shop local, support local, certified South Louisiana.
Lose weight with Alex Goen patented hypnosis.
This is Lisa Stofan. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods. I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight.
The only weight loss method in America proven useful by the U.S. Patent Office because it reprograms your subconscious. Engineered to kill cravings, emotional eating, and late-night fridge attacks. Get full on half the food, so you lose the weight and you keep it off. 10 pounds, 30 pounds, whatever your goal. Only $59.99 or your money back. Weight loss seminar Saturday, July 18th at the Hilton Garden Inn Cajun Dome at 11 a.m. Stop smoking at 2 p.m. Sign up at alexgoen.com. That's ALEXGOEN.com. alexgoen.com.
Everybody's talking about the big, beautiful bill, and it's game-changing for taxpayers. Hi, this is Kerry Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm. We've read the bill, and if you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Bryson Law Firm and get it resolved. This new legislation could give you a chance to get things straight with the IRS. Whether it's getting caught up on unfiled returns or negotiating IRS debts, there are a lot of new deductions and opportunities in the big, beautiful bill, and the Bryson Law Firm knows how to use them strategically. We've been staying on top of the tax changes in the big, beautiful bill, and we're ready to help our clients take full advantage. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Bryson Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Bryson Law Firm. Our headquarters are in Lafayette, and we have offices statewide. Or visit BrysonLawFirm.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm. The Bryson Law Firm, LSP filing number LA2519079.
This is ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, broadcasting live from the Beal and Hebert studios in Upper Lafayette. Beal and Hebert, Acadiana's hometown lawyers. Back to more of Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Welcome back to Footnotes as we finish up this first hour. Had a lot going on in the first hour. Just a reminder, Astros play a day game today on a Tuesday. We talked about that yesterday, how strange it was. It's because of the World Cup. And they're going to need starting pitcher Peter Lambert to do well because Hunter Brown, the ace pitcher who returned, threw 85 pitches in 3 innings. You know how hard it is to throw 85 pitches in 3 innings and give up 1 run? Give up 1 run on a solo homer to Okamoto. He threw 85 pitches in 3 innings. Think about that. It's incredible. And he wasn't awful, but he wasn't good. Like every time he had a chance, he would hit somebody, seeming like to have a somewhat easy inning. He would get the first 2 guys out, then he'd hit a batter or something. His command just wasn't there. I'm not going to say the velocity wasn't there because he had pitches where he threw in the upper 90s, but it's just his command was not there, and it was 85 hard pitches. You know how you say so-and-so, yeah, they threw 90 pitches, but they were pretty easy. Well, this was 85 hard pitches, and I guess they feel like he's just coming back from injury. It's only his second start after being out for like 2 months or whatever it was, and they were like, well, we can't take a chance here. This has been way too burdensome of an outing for him. But the problem is, you have to use your bullpen extra. And De Los Santos had to throw 2 innings. In the first inning, he was great. Second inning, not so great. And so it's not good. So they need Peter Lambert to give him some innings today, and he's done a great job of that so far this season. So we'll see how it works today. There was it was an interesting night in baseball. Framber, who outpitched Hunter Brown in last week, beat Garrett Cole last night. Another ex-Astro. And the Tigers, you remember, I was worried about playing the Tigers, and to the Astros' credit, they won the series against the Tigers. But the Tigers had played awful. The Tigers have the best record in the American League in the month of June. And so I was a little worried about playing the Tigers, but to the Astros' credit, they actually won that series. But they've been winning other than that series against the Astros. And they beat the Yankees last night and beat Garrett Cole 5-3. The Braves lost 1-0 to the Padres. I mean, just the lack of hitting from the Padres this year is one of the just really strange things about this season. Brandon Woodruff makes his return last night and throws like 6 or 7 perfect innings, and they win 2-1 in 10 innings. Very, very strange. Interesting night in Major League Baseball. 1 hour down, another hour to go. Stay tuned.
Imagine building your dream backyard pool without ever leaving your couch. With Duplessis Builders, you can go shop our in-ground gunite pool packages online, start to finish. Browse our pool designs, compare features, see exactly what's included, and choose the package that fits your style and budget. Once you purchase, our team takes over. From permit and excavation to gunite decking and final startup, you click, we build, you swim. Your backyard upgrade is just a few clicks away. Visit DuplessisBuilders.net and buy your pool online today.
Lafayette Stars and Stripes is back and bigger than ever as America celebrates its 250th anniversary. Join us Saturday, July 4th at Park International in downtown Lafayette for a night of patriotic fun. Gates open at 5 p.m. with live music by Sold Out and Rusty Mattwire and the Zydeco Crush, along with delicious food trucks, family activities, local vendors, and plenty of surprises. Then look to the sky for a spectacular fireworks finale at 9:30 p.m. Free admission presented by Lafayette Utility System, LFT Fiber, and Delta Media.
We are the soldiers of the Louisiana Army National Guard. We are your neighbors. We are your sons and daughters. While we serve part-time, we are learning valuable life and job skills. We are earning money for college, for trade and technical schools, and for certifications. We are proud to serve both our country and our home state. We are your Louisiana Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the Louisiana Army National Guard. Aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Looking for your next firearm? Come visit Louisiana Gun Shop in Broussard. We've got financing options, 12 months same as cash, plus layaways up to 90 days. With a wide selection of new and used guns, we've got something for every budget, big or small. Have an old gun collecting dust? Trade it in or turn it into cash. Need parts? We've got the largest selection of AR-15 components in the area, from springs to grips and buttstocks. Explore our ever-changing used inventory online at LouisianaGunShop.com. Louisiana Gun Shop, your one-stop shop for firearms and more.
Live from Upper Lafayette, this is ESPN 1037 KLWB Carencro Lafayette, KLCJ-FM Oak Grove Lake Charles 1041, a Delta Media station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros dropped their game last night to the Toronto Blue Jays 4-2 in Canada. The Astros and the Jays were tied 2-2 heading into the 7th when the Blue Jays tacked on back-to-back one-run innings to take the victory. Game 2 of the series will be this afternoon, and it'll be Peter Lambert for Houston versus Shane Bieber on the mound for Toronto. First pitch is at 3:07, and you can listen to it on our sister station, News Talk 98.5 FM and 1520 AM. The Oklahoma Sooners have won the 2026 College Baseball World Series after obliterating North Carolina last night 13-2. It's the first baseball title for the Sooners since 1994 and the third overall for the program. This championship win is also the SEC's 7th straight national championship in baseball. Also for OU, shortstop Jackson Willits took home the tournament's Most Outstanding Player award. He batted .500 in Omaha, going 13 for 26 at the plate with 1 home run, 7 RBI, and 6 runs scored. Today in the World Cup, Cristiano Ronaldo and Portugal will start the day off with Uzbekistan at 12 p.m. Then at 3 p.m., England will face Ghana. After that, Panama will play Croatia at 6 p.m. And rounding out the day, Colombia will play Congo at 9 p.m. tonight. Michigan basketball's Dusty May is reported to have taken the head coaching job with the Dallas Mavericks yesterday. May recently led the Wolverines to a national title in 2026 and will be the first college coach to make the jump to the NBA since former Michigan coach John Beilein took the Cleveland Cavaliers job in 2019. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you. This is ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. This is 2 hours of sports talk like none other. Footnotes with the man who speaks his own language.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
Your host, Kevin Foote.
Welcome back to Footnotes. You are listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette, 1041 Lake Charles on this Tuesday. We talked about a lot in the first hour. Oklahoma winning the national championship. First one since 94. By the way, I looked it up because I like doing this kind of stuff. The 1994 Oklahoma team that won the national championship. What did I know anybody? Because nobody stuck out. Like, I don't, there were back then, even in the 80s, if someone won, like we may talk about Texas, or I mean, that was Clemens in them, or that was whoever, I couldn't say who. I don't know. Before I looked it up, I couldn't have told you one player that was on that team. Now, once I looked it up, there were two familiar names, and one I certainly remember, and I should have remembered, but I didn't. One was Ryan Miner, who was a two-sport player and didn't turn out to be much of a major league player. But and the other one was Russ Ortiz, who there was a stretch there where he was certainly an above-average pitcher in the major leagues for the Giants. So he was like the most accomplished major leaguer from that 94 Oklahoma team. But and we talked about it last week. These are two programs that you would think would have been pretty good in baseball over the decades, but neither North Carolina or Oklahoma had a long list of pretty successful major league players. Like Bobby Witt was probably the most successful from Oklahoma. B.J. Surhoff, I'd say, probably the most successful from North Carolina. But for two teams that you think, they got pretty good baseball histories, you would think. Not a long list of major league players that have come out of those two programs. But we'll see how this group does moving forward. And, of course, the purpose of a college program, if you're a fan of, and who cares? I mean, you want your guys to go to the major leagues and do well, certainly. But your goal is to win, in this case, the national championship. So if you don't get any, they're not going to be any less happy about winning this championship if they don't get anybody that ever does anything at the major league level, for sure. So certainly any thoughts you have on that, feel free to do so. We've talked, again, over the last 2 days, a lot of NBA because of the Giannis trade talk, and that has happened, by the way. If you were listening yesterday or been hearing all the national talk about it and haven't heard what happened late last night, probably after most of us went to bed, there was a trade with the Miami Heat, not the Boston Celtics. And so will the Heat now become a contender again? You would think with two really good front court players that they have now in Adebayo and Giannis, that to me it's easier to find a few guys that can shoot the basketball than to find a really good front court player. Like now they have two really good front court players. So we'll see if Miami can get back into that. They traded Tyler Hero, by the way, as part of that trade. So we'll see how all of that plays out. And then, of course, tonight is the NBA draft. So who's going to be number one? A lot of people, I've heard multiple experts tell me that this is the deepest first round of an NBA draft in at least 2 decades. We'll see as time goes how accurate that is. But all through the college season, like during the NCAA tournament, if you remember, they were talking that kind of stuff. And even before the NCAA tournament, how talented of a group this was. Now we'll see how they translate to the NBA level, and that process starts tonight. So we'll see what happens there with the draft and if DeBonza goes number one or not, and of course we won't know how it's going to turn out, but that process starts tonight. Again, as I said, the top of the last hour, Astros play a day game, starts at 3 o'clock. Hopefully they can do well. We'll see how that goes. And again, baseball is becoming very interesting in a lot of ways because the American League is just not a lot of teams doing well. The Rays lost again last night. The Yankees hadn't been losing, but they did lose again last night. And there's so many teams in the American League right now that are in position to do something like Oklahoma just did at the collegiate level, where they just kind of not doing a whole lot and not doing a whole lot and not doing a whole lot. And all it takes is one 5 or 6 game winning streak, and boom, you're in great shape. Like the Detroit Tigers have had a miserable season. The Royals have had a miserable season. And yet, all they got to do is get hot for a couple weeks, and they're right back in the race because no one's running away with anything. And again, this whole idea of how good you are during the regular season, it's kind of like, well, what are you worried about? You winning. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, how many, what good, now it was fun while it lasted, gave you a lot of hope. But like, UCLA had a great season. They were the number 1 overall seed. Georgia Tech had a great season. They were the number 2 overall seed. I forget who was number 3. They got beat too. And it's just like all these teams that had these great seasons and they were ranked in the top 5. They didn't come close to winning a national championship. And a team that finished 11th, that was one of the last teams in, won the national championship. So the same thing could happen at the professional level, and it has happened. You say, well, so-and-so, that division's terrible, or that league is terrible, or so-and-so, they need I mean, if everything stays the way that it is right now with the major league standings, and it's this way a month from now, I don't know how hardly anybody is going to be able to say, well, they need to be selling because they're out of it, because hardly no one's out of it. Really. In Major League Baseball right now, and it's why I say you don't need to be looking at the standings until at least June. And that's not to look at the standings with any amount of authority. That's just to start looking at the standings. Because it is, I mean, right now, I mean, almost anything could happen. Really. Like the little MVPs. Now, look, the Red Sox and the little MVPs have had bad seasons. But even like, say, the Red Sox they have the tied for the fewest wins in all of Major League Baseball. They're 7 games out of a wild card spot. 7. They got the fewest wins in all of Major League Baseball, and they're only 7 games out in June. That is nothing. All you got to do is play hot for 3 weeks, and you're right there. I mean, that's nothing, 7 games out in June. That teams overcome that in August, much less June. It's in the National League, just to know if you haven't paid attention where we are, besides the top 3 division leaders, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams. Besides the 3 division winners, there are 8 teams within a game and a half of each other for the next 8 spots after the 3 division winners. I mean, again, it is like right now, there's basically, you could say 4 teams that are out of it, but I don't even know if I could say that. There's hardly no one that is out of it in Major League Baseball right now. And if there is 2 or 3 or 4, maybe, the rest of the teams, all they got to do is have a hot weekend there, and they're in great shape. I mean, really. Now, again, injuries and all that play into it, but if it stays this way, a month from now, I don't know how they're going to say anybody needs to be trading all their players because they're out of it, because hardly no one's out of it right now. It's crazy. And again, Oklahoma is an example why this idea that you're not good enough, no one thought they were good enough. In going into the postseason, and yet they had a dominant run to win the national championship. Just unbelievable. All right, let us head out to the ESPN hotline. Hello.
Hey, Kevin. Obviously, there's on that College World Series bracket, obviously there's more than one way to play a double elimination. But why, when they get to the semifinals, do they not flip the 2 teams have fought from the losers bracket. In other words, West Virginia could have been sent down to play Oklahoma and Georgia up to play North Carolina.
Well, I mean, you think it would have changed things? I mean, possibly it could have, certainly.
I mean, both of those teams have already been beaten by North Carolina and Oklahoma in the quarters, and the theory is this way you get your two best teams. You stand a better chance of getting your two best teams to the finals.
You know, it's kind of like the difference in a grand scheme of the old way they used to do Major League Baseball, where the American League never played the National League, and you see who's best from the two leagues, and then now everyone kind of plays one another. It's like we want this side, let's decide a winner of this side, the other side. In other words, let's have more teams play against each other to decide who's the best, rather than one team who might match up well against his team, beat them twice and eliminate them. I'd be fine with it if they wanted to reseed in the or to cross brackets once you get to the. I guess it's just easier this way, scheduling wise. I don't know why they've done it. They do it. They've done it this way for a while.
Yeah. Both of those teams played on June 17th, so it seems like it wouldn't have been a big deal to flip those two teams. I mean, the girls do it in their World Series.
Okay, let me ask you, how do you think it would have changed things if they did it this year? I mean, it's just a guess, I know, but what do you think could have been different or would have been different?
That's pure speculation. I have no idea. I'm not going anywhere in that direction with it.
Yeah.
I was just curious as to why the boys don't flip the two teams that have fought from the losers bracket, because they've already lost. You know, West Virginia had already played and lost to North Carolina.
Right.
Georgia had already played and lost to Oklahoma. Flip the two, and maybe you get the two best teams in the finals. Just curious.
I appreciate it. No, some people would want to just kind of reseed from the beginning. I think I prefer what he's saying, to be honest with you. Like, it's, have different teams play one another rather than playing the same team. Of course, that's the way, like in the Sun Belt, that's how they do the Sun Belt tournament, where it's the winner of this bracket versus the winner of that bracket. It's a more traditional way to do bracket play, I guess, is the answer to the question, but it doesn't mean that it's right, is the other part of that. And he is suggesting that it might have made, gives you more variety where you're not, I was commenting yesterday about how once you get to game 3 and 4, and then when you get to professional, you play a 6 or 7 game series, you kind of know the hitters more. Or the pitchers more, but I think the hitters more because you're facing theoretically the same lineup 3 and 4 and 5 times. Now, I know this is a much smaller sample size, but it kind of fits into that. If you switch it up, like he's saying, then it's more like there's a little more unknown, and you don't know how that matchup is going to play out. So it might make it more interesting, if nothing else. All right, we'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Regional Homes of Opelousas and ESPN 103.7 Lafayette, 104.1 Lake Charles want to help you celebrate America's 250th birthday. We're giving you the chance to win a 250th anniversary of American flag and flagpole kit. Listen on air starting on Monday, June the 29th, this coming Monday, for the American trivia question, and you could be one of our lucky winners. So tune in next week for our special giveaway. Salute and a happy 250th anniversary on Birthday America.
Do you need more of the fellas here on Southwest Louisiana's sports station? Of course you do. So go make sure and subscribe to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles YouTube channel at ESPN_SWLA. Don't forget to turn that bell on so you get notifications for new episodes of Fort Tire Change Podcast, where Dawson Iserlo talks all things NASCAR, or Cleats and Sneaks with James Mesh. Get yourself more of Southwest Louisiana's sports station at ESPN_SWLA on YouTube.
Around Acadiana, community means supporting the businesses that make our hometown special. That's why we're proud to spotlight local companies that are certified South Louisiana.
Delta Home Center and Delta Trailer Sales, your one-stop shop for utility and cargo trailers. Heavy-duty dump and gooseneck trailers, portable buildings, cabins, decks, porches, fences, carports, and site-built metal shops. Located at Exit 7 in Carencro or at deltatrailersales.com.
When you support local businesses, you strengthen the communities we call home. Shop local, support local. Certified South Louisiana. Acadiana Legal Services Corporation provides free access to legal services. Their work spans across Louisiana. They're committed to helping eligible individuals navigate legal challenges from family law to public benefits. Their team delivers reliable, high-quality representation. Acadiana Legal Services provides comprehensive benefits and a supportive work environment. Join a team that makes a difference in the lives of people. Apply today at la-law.org/careers or careers@la-law.org.
Every weeknight, MeTV has your laugh therapy.
To chase away the blues or the olive drabs.
With 2 hours of MASH at 5.
This guy's ankle has tickled my funny bone.
Followed by the Andy Griffith Show at 7.
Doggone it, Otis. You're supposed to be hugging me when I'm arresting you.
But he likes you, Bart.
Weeknights on MeTV.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices. To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
I've been driving trucks for a long time, and safety is my #1 priority. I know that my truck has huge blind spots. That's why I remember to check my mirrors often for smaller vehicles. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're behind the wheel, try to avoid lingering in those blind spots. It can be dangerous. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
You're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. Your home for the Houston Astros.
Welcome back to Footnotes. If you'd like to give us a call on the ESPN hotline, 706-0111, certainly feel free to do so. Let's go back to that hotline. Hello.
What's going on, Kevin?
How are you, sir?
Man, I'm good, man. I woke up good this morning after this trade because being a long-time Miami Heat fan, I felt like all we have been is just the kings of the play-in tournament.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? It's like we've been missing out on getting stars and things like that. I know a lot of people don't like this trade, but me personally, I love it. I think it would have been a bad trade for Boston, but it's a better trade for Miami. And I know people saying, man, y'all have to get all these extra pieces, but you have to get the main attraction to attract the other pieces. It makes it more easy for people to say, you know what, I want to go play with them guys now, especially down there in South Beach. What's your thoughts, Kevin?
Have you studied this draft? Can you get at least one of the shooters you need in this draft where you're going to be drafting? I haven't really studied that kind of from a Heat angle yet.
Yes, man, I've been on this all day, every day. Now, you know, we was in the 13th spot. Now, this is a deep draft. This is a very deep draft. You could get good players, I mean, even in the second round in this draft. But, we had to give up the first, and that's cool. People have to realize when you're getting a superstar, you're going to give up those first-round picks. That's just what it is. That's just the business. But I think we still have a little change to make some moves because there's still some other free agents out there that can get, you really don't have to pay them that much that's out there. They got even like White from the Hornets, man, who used to play with the Bulls. Man, that dude is a good shooter, too. So there's some pieces out there, Kevin. And there's some stuff in the draft as well. But I think Pat going to make some moves. Pat Riley going to make some moves. We got some more coming up.
Well, it's going to be very interesting. All right, I don't know that we've ever had this discussion. Tell me about how did you become a Heat fan?
Well, my first cousin, Carl Landry, played in the NBA. He played with New Orleans when they was New Orleans Hornets before they became the Pelicans. Then he went to Houston and Sacramento Kings. Long story short, him and D. Wade was best of friends in college. So I hung out with her as my first cousin. And every time the Heat played in New Orleans, Dwayne Wade left me tickets at will call every single game. And I was fortunate enough, the second time that they went to the championship with LeBron, not the first year they lost, but the second one, man, I was actually able to go down to Miami to the game. And like I said, on the strength of my cousin, Carl Landry, who was friends with Dwayne Wade. And, man, I've been just fans of them since then, because no team ever did anything for me. I was the one that had to pay for tickets and go here, go there. So for that man to come out and say, hey, man, every time I come down, I'm going to have two tickets for you at will call, I became a Heat fan, man, since Wade got drafted by Miami.
I got you.
And that's just how it was, you know.
I understand. Almost everyone has a story. I just like to know where you stand now. How are you? Are you doing better than me? Because the anticipation for the Saints season is starting to hurt me a little bit.
Oh, man, look, I was hoping that as a Saints fan, I was hoping we start finding some extra little pieces on their defense. I'm still kind of worried about their secondary, but, I mean, I am anxious, especially right now. We don't have anything really to watch now except, baseball. So I'm real anxious for it, but I just still wish we would get a couple more pieces, because people are already putting us to, win the division on paper. Everything look good on paper, but, man, we have to come together, and I want to see it gel. And I'm just still a little suspect on that secondary, man. What you think about that secondary?
I'm not as worried, but you and James and Dawson, you aren't alone. A lot of y'all are worried about the secondary. I'm not worried about it as much as y'all do. But we'll see how it plays out. I appreciate the call. Thank you very much. Take care. No, it's a question a lot of people have. I'm trying. I mean, there's nothing wrong with talking about the Saints in June. There's never anything wrong talking about the Saints. But I'm trying to push it back as much, because it's almost like August is going to kill me, because everyone's going to be. We go through this every year, but we're really going to go through it this year. Everyone's going to be counting down to camp and preseason games, and I want to watch preseason games. It's going to be with all the young players that the Saints have acquired over the last 2 years. Preseason games are going to be very interesting again this year. Last year was interesting because of the whole quarterback situation. I don't want to see a lot of quarterback play this year. It has nothing to do with the quarterback. It's more about all these other young players and how they're doing. And so I'm anxious, but, man, once it gets started, August is just going to be torture, because I just cannot wait to see how this is going to play out. All right, let us head back out to the ESPN hotline. Hello.
Footsie.
Yes, sir.
I got a few combinations for you.
All right, I'm listening.
All right. Did somebody say Akeem and Clyde Drexler?
No, they said Akeem and Sampson, like the Twin Towers things. But, yeah, we had Akeem and Drexler in college, and then now we can also have it in the NBA, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. No, Akeem did. I think it was Akeem and Clyde Drexler when they won the championship those 2 years.
Yeah. Sampson was gone by then. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, so Akeem and Clyde Drexler. Now I want to give you something from my childhood. Now you may have caught on to these a little bit later, but Dave Cowens and John Havlicek, mostly in the 70s for the Celtics, that was the big combination for the Celtics.
Yeah, Cowens was a good center, and they had JoJo White and a couple other guys, but yeah, Cowens and Havlicek was definitely a 1-2 punch.
And the thing about it is, I was a big Havlicek fan, and they were in that great game in 1976 against the Phoenix Suns. Did it go to double or triple overtime?
I think it was triple. I mean, we have to go back and check, but I think it might have been triple.
Yeah, that was when Garfield Hurd hit that shot. So, but I always liked Havlicek, And then one of my favorites, one of my all-time favorite was Foe, was Julius Erving and Big Mo Malone. I love when he did that in 1981.
He's one of the best, least talked about players in NBA history. Think about it. No one hardly ever brings up Moses Malone. He was really good, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm going to give you my favorite one. I don't think you're going to like my favorite one because I don't think you like this team. And don't ask me why I like this team, but I just did. In fact, I think it was because of the second person here. But Dennis Johnson and downtown Freddie Brown for the Seattle Supersonics in 1979.
Oh.
I love downtown Freddie Brown.
I was okay with downtown Freddie Brown, and I was okay with Slick Watts. I was not okay with John Johnson and Lonnie Shelton and Jack Sikma. But yeah, I'm good with downtown Freddie Brown.
Yeah, I didn't think you were good with Jack Sigma. I thought he was. Thought you weren't good with him. But yeah, that's a few of mine for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Footsie.
It's unbelievable that Bitter just brought up that 76 Suns-Celtics game. I talked about that yesterday. James, have you ever looked into that game? I
don't even remember that game being talked about.
When
Celtics Suns 76.
If ever you get a chance to even watch, it's got to, in this technological era, it's got to be somewhere on YouTube. Well, I'm not, if you have time to watch the whole game, great. But at least watch the end of the regulation and the overtime periods. It was probably the greatest game in NBA history.
The triple overtime where the Suns or the Celtics won 128-126.
Right.
Okay.
I remember watching that live. They had some cat came out the stands and attacked an official. It was a crazy game. And by the way, since Bitter brought that up, because I was going to talk about that later this week. If you go, because one of the 1-2 punches, and look, this has no chance of being like top 10 or anything. I just start thinking of my childhood and 1-2 punches, very similar to what he just talked about with Dave Cowens and Havlicek. That Suns team was Paul Westphal and Alvin Adams. Alvin Adams, who went to Oklahoma, just won the baseball national championship. But listen to some of the players on that 76 Suns team. Now, obviously, I remember Alvin Adams and Paul Westphal. They were like two of the stars of the team. But some other players that were on that roster, that 76 Suns roster, Alvin Adams, obviously. Keith Erickson, if you watch the NBA back then, he was an announcer in that era for CBS. Garfield Hurd, who Bitter just talked about. Pat Riley. Pat Riley was on that Suns team. You've heard of Pat Riley. He's like a legendary coach. He runs the Miami Heat. He just orchestrated this trade.
Yeah.
So he was on that team. John Shoemate, who, if you were a fan of college basketball way back when in the 70s, was a great player at Notre Dame, and I'm pretty sure he was in the game that ended the legendary UCLA winning streak that they had. Freddie Saunders, who played on those great Cajun teams that we talk about with Bo Lamar and Roy Ebron in the early 70s. Freddie Saunders was on that roster. So just very interesting. I think it's a game that isn't talked about enough, and that was, again, arguably the greatest game in NBA history. Was that game between this NBA Finals game between the Celtics and the Suns. And obviously I was upset that the Suns didn't win the game because I was pulling for them. For some, the Suns back then, divisions mattered more in the NBA back then. They don't even matter anymore in the NBA. But back then they did. And I had been a Laker fan at that time, probably like 2 years maybe. I just kind of was still young and being a Laker fan. And I didn't like I hated the Sonics. I hated the Blazers. I never really hated the Suns for whatever reason. And I didn't like the Golden State Warriors, but I didn't hate them. The two teams that I hated in that era were the Sonics and the Blazers. Ugly people. But it was, but no, I never really hated the Suns. Suns had some good players, and obviously, to Bitter's point, like the Sonics had great players. I mean, Dennis Johnson was really good. Now, most people remember Dennis Johnson with the Celtics because he was on some of those great Celtic teams in the great Celtic-Laker rivalry of the 80s. But, Sigma, I didn't like him, but he was a good player. And Lonnie Shelton was a good player. And, downtown Freddie Brown wasn't like one of their best 2 or 3 players, but he was good. And he could really shoot. Like, he was a shooter, number 32, downtown Freddie Brown. But Dennis Johnson was good, and John Johnson was just an enforcer, 27. No, they had good players. And, I know that I was young, but everyone who trashes the NBA in the 70s, I love the NBA in the 70s, so I don't trash it like everyone did. Now, I like the 80s even more, don't get me wrong, but I think the NBA in the 70s was a little better than a lot of people give it credit for. We'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros dropped their game last night to the Toronto Blue Jays 4-2 in Canada. The Astros and the Jays were tied 2-2 heading into the 7th when the Blue Jays tacked on back-to-back one-run innings to take the victory. Game 2 of the series will be this afternoon, and it'll be Peter Lambert for Houston versus Shane Bieber on the mound for Toronto. First pitch is at 3:07, and you can listen to it on our sister station, News Talk, 98.5 FM and 1520 AM. The Oklahoma Sooners have won the 2026 College Baseball World Series after obliterating North Carolina last night 13-2. It's the first baseball title for the Sooners since 1994 and the 3rd overall for the program. This championship win is also the SEC's 7th straight national championship in baseball. Also for OU, shortstop Jackson Willits took home the tournament's Most Outstanding Player award. He batted .500 in Omaha, going 13 for 26 at the plate with 1 home run, 7 RBI, and 6 runs scored. Today in the World Cup, Cristiano Ronaldo and Portugal will start the day off with Uzbekistan at 12 p.m. Then at 3 p.m., England will face Ghana. After that, Panama will play Croatia at 6 p.m. And rounding out the day, Colombia will play Congo at 9 p.m. tonight. Michigan basketball's Dusty May is reported to have taken the head coaching job with the Dallas Mavericks yesterday. May recently led the Wolverines to a national title in 2026 and will be the first college coach to make the jump to the NBA since former Michigan coach John Beilein took the Cleveland Cavaliers job in 2019. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you. ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is the proud winner of 4 2026 LAB Prestige Awards, including Best Use of Digital Media, Foot's Friday Fury, Best Live On-Site Remote for our Super Bowl Radio Road coverage, Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative, and Radio Young Professional of the Year for Dawson Iserloh. We're proud of being Southwest Louisiana's sports station and are humbled to be recognized by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters.
Ozempic, Wegovy, GLP-1s. Every day, one thought haunts you. What if I stop? A 2026 British Medical Journal study says you're going to gain every pound back. So, what now? Well, there's an answer. Alex Goen patented hypnosis. The Journal of the American Medical Association says adding behavior therapy to GLP-1s produces 3 times the results than GLP-1s alone. And hypnosis is behavior therapy concentrated. Alex Goen Hypnosis is the only U.S. patented hypnosis proven useful by the U.S. Patent Office. Engineered to destroy cravings, make you full on half the food, and kill late-night fridge attacks. Only $59.99 or your money back. Weight loss seminar Saturday, July 18th at the Hilton Garden Inn Cajun Dome, 11 a.m. Sign up at alexgoen.com. That's ALEXGOEN.com.
Are your pipes giving you problems? Is that leaky faucet driving you crazy? Don't wait for a plumbing disaster. Call the experts at Ace Plumbing, your trusted local plumbers for over 30 years. At Ace Plumbing, we do it all. Clogged drains, water heater repairs, pipe replacements, and more. With decades of experience, we deliver fast, reliable, and affordable solutions for your home or business.
Ace Plumbing fixed my burst pipe in no time, and the price was great. They're the only plumbers I trust.
From small leaks to big emergencies, Ace Plumbing is just one call away. We're available 24/7 because plumbing problems don't wait. Call Ace Plumbing today at 337-565-2519 or visit us online at aceplumbinginc.com. That's 337-565-2519.
Ace Plumbing, your personal plumber. Let us give you a hand.
Tax season doesn't have to be stressful. Not with Black & Gold Tax Service in your corner. Conveniently located on Main Street in Broussard, we offer in-office appointments and virtual consultations. You can upload your documents to our secured portal, and we offer secure digital drop-offs. Members of the Better Business Bureau, we proudly serve South Louisiana and all 50 states with integrity, expertise, and personalized care. Visit blackandgoldtax.com and let Black & Gold Tax Service make taxes easy. Black & Gold Tax Service, where accuracy meets Acadiana pride.
You're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. Your home for the best local sports talk in Southwest Louisiana.
Welcome back to Footnotes. If you would like to give us a call on the ESPN hotline, certainly feel free to do so. I want to go over the list real quick, what we've got so far, and a couple added today. Willis Reed, Walt Frazier, Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, John Stockton and Malone, Kareem and Oscar, Jokic and Murray, Bird and McHale, Magic and Kareem, Russell and Havlicek, Russell and Kuzi. It's weird. Our guys who played a long time, you can kind of have it. Two of them, the beginning of your career, the end of your career. Curry and Klay Thompson, Jordan and Pippen, Elvin Hayes and Wes Unseld. That's one of my favorite ones so far. Like I said, I was a big fan of those. I really pulled for those Bullets teams of the 70s with Greavy and Bobby Dandridge. Probably the Bullets of the 70s and the Bucks from the 70s and 80s were my favorite non-Laker teams that I pulled for in the NBA. And I obviously when Tony and them were there, because pulled for the Sixers quite a bit as well, certainly against the Celtics. Westfall and Adams, we talked about. Duncan and Robinson was mentioned today. Duncan and Tony Parker. West and Elgin Baylor. Olajuwon and Sampson. Shaq and Penny, Shaq and Kobe. What was the other one? Oh, Dave Cowens and Havlicek. Dennis Johnson and Downtown Freddie Brown. That's a funny one. And Moses and Dr. J. I also saw, obviously, there were a lot of players. Like Andrew Toney at one point was just the best shooting guard in the NBA for about 2 years. And, you could actually say for a short period of time it was Dr. J and Andrew, but those were also well-rounded teams. Like you had Bobby Jones, who was just a defensive player, could score a little bit if you need him to, but they were more well-rounded teams. They weren't built like AAU teams. They were built like basketball teams. Got a couple on another interesting one texted to me. Alex English and Kiki Vandeweghe in the 80s. I mean, there weren't a lot of teams that could score more than the Nuggets did with Alex English and Kiki Vandeweghe. I mean, they were in 1982. I was seeing here that They finished 1-2 in scoring in the league, and so that's a 1-2 punch. Now they gave up a lot of points. Yeah,
scoring wise.
Yes, they gave up a lot of points. You know, they didn't win an NBA title, but they could really score a lot of points. And Alex English was just kind of a tall forward, could really shoot. Vandeweghe, a little bit like Luka. His game was he was a scorer kind of a little bit like Luka is right now. Had some similar skills. I always thought Kiki Vandeweghe looked like Han Solo, looked like Harrison Ford. Kind of weird, but no, I think he kind of looked like Harrison Ford, played a little bit like Luka. But no, very, 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 very talented guys. And I mentioned the Bucks. One that a lot of people aren't going to remember is I like those Bucks teams of the '80s. Sidney Moncrief and Paul Pressey had a 1-2 punch as guards that could score a lot, and they won a lot of games. Again, they weren't as good as the Sixers and they weren't as good as the Celtics, but they were still really good. Like the third in the East, and look, I was a Laker fan, but I'll admit the East was stronger than the West back then. It just was. I mean, you had teams that were third. Now the Rockets had some pretty good teams too out of the West, but I think the East overall was stronger, and they had some good teams for sure, and the Bucks were one of them. So and we have 3 more days after today to get a few more that we haven't even mentioned. So,
Salty Steve wants to throw in Pistol Pete and Gail Goodrich.
Now, I thought about Pistol Pete and Goodrich. Now, I mean, I thought about the New Orleans Jazz, and now, of course, I'm biased. I will admit that I'm biased. I'm a power forward guy. I've always been a power forward guy. I prefer guys that average 15, 17 points and 10 rebounds to a guy that scores 28 points. And so my favorite players have almost always been power forwards. To me, those are like the tight ends of basketball. And so I would say Pistol and Truck Robinson as the Jazz 1-2 punch. But certainly you could say Goodrich and Pistol. But those were more guards. Chuck Robinson was a power forward, so that would be more like the inside-outside kind of thing. But in terms of like a backcourt, yeah, you would say Goodrich and Pistol. So that's one from a New Orleans Jazz perspective. Interesting. Good one there, no question. Of course, Pistol, he's got his own. I don't know if there is a Pistol and someone else. I mean, it's just like he was kind of his own, he was his own one-man show.
We got Pistol and Pete.
Pete who?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
I got you.
He is the one
himself. Yeah. I get you now. Yeah, kind of himself. All right, let's head back to the ESPN hotline. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Kevin, I got an ABA one. Is ABA count?
It counts. No? Yeah, I count it. I fold it in. I'm good with that.
How about Dan Issel and Doug Moe?
Man.
You know how many championships they won in the ABA? I mean, they won like about 4 or 5 of them, I think. I mean, Dr. J never could beat them.
Was Doug Moe the second guy with Issel, really?
Well, okay, help me with that. I'm not sure exactly if he was number 2. I know Issel was number 1. Who else would be number 2 on that team? You remember all the players on that team?
No, I don't. You're going to have to. I don't. I certainly remember it, but I don't remember. Now, Doug Moe was the head coach of Kiki Vandeweghe and Alex English with the Nuggets in the 80s that I was talking about.
Right, he was.
He was their head coach.
I'm not sure if he was a number 2 on that team. I know Issel was number 1. I know that for sure. But, man, they were good. I mean, that was a good Denver team. I mean, like I said, Dr. J never could beat them with the Colonel or the Nets. Whatever team he went to, he never could beat them. I think he beat them maybe the last season of the ABA, but I'm not sure. But you want to talk about a tandem that won a lot of championships. It was that tandem there, whatever way you go with Issel. But that right there they were formidable, Kevin.
I'm going to have to look that up because again, I saw some of those games, but I was young and I was more of an NBA fan than an ABA fan. And so I don't have a lot of real good memories. I'm going to have to look that one up.
Yeah, look down and see who was the second guy beyond Issel. I know the whole team was pretty good. There was a lot of them that transferred to the NBA too, and Issel still had a good career in the NBA. I think he was kind of older, but that guy could play now. Issel was tough, but
Absolutely.
All right, Kevin, that's all I got, buddy.
All right, I appreciate it. Let's see. I'm looking at the roster here. It's funny. I don't know. I'd have to look up the stats for that year, but who was on one of those teams? One of them was Bobby Jones, who I just talked about, later played for the Sixers. One of them was David Thompson. David Thompson and Monty Towell both played on him. That was a 1-2 point. I can't believe Monty Towell was very good at the ABA level, but he was on those teams as North Carolina State teammates. But no, I'm going to need to look up the actual stats to see how they were. But the 76 anyway, Denver Nuggets were first in the ABA, and that was the year. The one I'm looking up, I need to look up a different team because the one I'm looking up, they actually lost in the ABA finals to the Nets and Dr. J. That was the one year that he was bringing up. So I'll try to look at previous years and see who their 1-2 punch was. Again, this is part of a project where you learn something. That this is stuff that if I ever knew, I've certainly forgotten. And so I like getting educated as well as trying to educate others and reminding myself of this. I think the ABA history is fascinating in a lot of ways. We'll take a timeout and be back.
This is Footnotes, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Bluebell Ice Cream's been making the best ice cream in the country for more than 100 years and has now unveiled a flavor just in time for the 4th of July. Red, white, and Bluebell. The limited edition flavor features strawberry ice cream loaded with succulent strawberries, creamy vanilla, and smooth blueberry flavor ice cream with real blueberries. Let's celebrate the red, white, and blue with Red, White, and Bluebell. Currently available in half-gallon and pint sizes at most retailers. Pick up some Bluebell ice cream today.
ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is your home for the Houston Astros.
And the Astros stun the Mariners.
Hunter Brown, Yordan Alvarez, and the rest of the Astros are looking to get back to the postseason. You can listen to every pitch, hit, and thrilling victory of the Houston Astros.
Incredible!
As Robert Ford and Steve Sparks will be on the call. Tune in this season for live Astros baseball on Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Ready to transform your backyard into the summer paradise you've always dreamed of? With Duplessis Builders custom gunite pool packages, we make it simple to own a stunning, long-lasting, in-ground pool built just for you. Choose from classic designs, all customizable to fit your space, style, and budget. Our pools come with quality finishes, energy-efficient equipment, beautiful lighting, and professional installation from excavation to decking so you can dive in before the next heat wave hits. Don't just dream it, build it. Visit DuplessisBuilders.net.
You thinking trailers? Think Tibbs. Whether you tug it, tow it, or transport it, Tibbs Trailers is your headquarters for enclosed, flatbed, and hydraulic trailers. You won't find a better selection or a better price than right here. We've got the experts to repair or customize your trailer so it'll be ready for whatever you pull it through. Why would you go anywhere else when you can go to Tibbs Trailers? Now we're talking trailers.
Between Scott and Doosan.
MeTV is America's #1 classic entertainment television network. And here's one of the reasons everybody loves MeTV.
Oh, it's a classic.
The great comedy lineup on weeknights.
This will be fun. Come on.
With MASH.
Loaded with snappy comebacks.
The Andy Griffith Show.
I was just funning with Barney.
And Everybody Loves Raymond.
Now we got a show.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on Channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
Looking for your next firearm? Come visit Louisiana Gun Shop in Broussard. We've got financing options, 12 months same as cash, plus layaways up to 90 days. With a wide selection of new and used guns, we've got something for every budget, big or small. Have an old gun collecting dust? Trade it in or turn it into cash. Need parts? We've got the largest selection of AR-15 components in the area, from springs to grips and buttstocks. Explore our ever-changing used inventory online at louisianagunshop.com. Louisiana Gun Shop, your one-stop shop for firearms and more. BB's Auto Sales has been serving Acadiana since 1966. Cleanest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Need financing? No problem. BB's offers easy financing for all credit types, including in-house financing. Plus, they're paying top dollar for your trade. Voted top 3 dealership in Community Choice Awards 2 years in a row. Visit BB's Auto Sales, 2 convenient locations off Johnston Street and in Abbeville. bbsautosales.com. Cleanest cars in Acadiana.
You're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station, and your home for the LSU Tigers.
Welcome back to Footnotes. Well, FedEx Man brought up the ABA, and looking it up, it was actually the Pacers that won the most titles. The Indiana Pacers won in 70, in 72, and in 73. The Colonels actually only won 1 year, and the Denver Nuggets never won the title. Now, they made it to the playoffs and had some success, but never won it. George McGinnis was on that, was kind of the best player, I would say, from those teams that won multiple titles for the Indiana Pacers. He was averaging 21 points. Mel Daniels, who I vaguely know, I couldn't tell you a whole lot. A young Gus Johnson played on one of those teams, but he wasn't the main players. George McGinnis and Mel Daniels, who I've heard of Mel Daniels, but I couldn't tell you anything about Mel Daniels. So George McGinnis was the top player and the on those teams both years that they played. And their roster for both years looks very, very similar. A lot of the same players. So I knew George McGinnis played for the Pacers, but when I woke up this morning, you would have told me that the Pacers won the most. I probably heard that because I've seen specials on ABA history before. But if you'd asked me this morning, I think I would have said the Nets or the Colonels. I don't think I'd have said the Pacers. But they actually won the most. And yes, George McGinnis ended up playing with Dr. J in the NBA for a year or two. So that was interesting the way kind of all that played out. He was a little not washed up, but he wasn't as good once he got to the NBA, McGinnis, but he was still a good player. Kind of a big physical inside presence with there. So I'm going to have to do a little bit more history and see the actual Dan Issel and his team. Dan Issel, I remember later, he ended up playing in the NBA for the Nuggets and was a really good player. He was an old school Kentucky player and played with Rupp and all that at Kentucky. But no, I'll have to do a little more research in Issel. But doing a little ABA looking into during the break, it was actually the Indiana Pacers that were the team that won the most. There was the very first, who made the finals in the very first ABA season was the New Orleans Buccaneers. A lot, you hear a few references to the Buccaneers here and there, but you don't hear a lot of references to the Buccaneers. And I'm pretty sure the Larry Brown was on that original New Orleans Buccaneers team that made it really far. Jackie Moreland, who was a star at Louisiana Tech many, many years ago. And so it's kind of funny how how that works. There's not a lot of people that ever talk about the New Orleans Buccaneers, but they had some good players that very first year of the ABA. No, the ABA is fascinating. We probably don't give it quite enough credit, but it did. In the end, it didn't have enough financial stability and got swallowed up by the NBA. But sent a lot of really good players to the NBA, and it was kind of USF, very similar to the USFL. All right, we had a lot of fun with that. Y'all have a good day.
The heart of Acadiana is its local businesses, the people, families, and companies that help our communities thrive. Here's a message from a proud certified South Louisiana business.
Candyland Cottage is the place to satisfy all your cravings. Find delicious ice creams, fresh fudge, truffles, hot dogs, sausage po' boys, Frito pies, and homemade shakes. Visit in Scott and Rain for a sweet treat. Plan your next birthday party or field trip at Candyland Cottage.
Shop local, support local.